You stand up with a mission. You have a clear, undeniable purpose. Walk 10 steps, cross one simple doorway, and suddenly the mission is gone. The purpose vanished. The door didn't hit you, drug you, or steal a piece of your brain. So why does entering another room make you forget what you were doing? This isn't just you being forgetful. It's a real, documented psychological phenomenon called the doorway effect, or the location updating effect. And the explanation reveals something surprising about the way your memory is built. It's not a video camera. It's more like a tiny, cluttered desk. To understand what's happening, you need to meet your brain's working memory. This is the mental space where you hold whatever you're actively thinking about. Your conscious thoughts live here. And it's not an infinite warehouse. It's a tiny desk. It can only hold a few thoughts at a time. Your current goal, a phone number, the start of a sentence. Everything else, your childhood memories, the rules of grammar, how to ride a bike, is stored away in the giant warehouse of long-term memory. When you walk into a new room, your brain is flooded with new information. Different light, new objects, a change in sound, different smell. When this flood of new information arrives on your tiny mental desk, it can knock the old one right off. This isn't just a metaphor. Psychologists at the University of Notre Dame decided to test this exact idea. They designed a series of clever experiments to see if doorways really do cause forgetting. In one study, they had people move through a virtual environment, like a simple video game. Participants would pick up an object in one room and carry it to another. The results were clear. If participants passed through a doorway into a new virtual room, they were slower and less accurate at remembering what object they were carrying compared to when they just walked the same distance within the same room. To make sure this wasn't just a quirk of video games, they repeated the experiment in real-world settings and got the same result. The simple act of crossing a boundary seemed to reset their working memory. But here's where it gets truly strange. Further studies found that you don't even need a real door. They discovered that merely imagining walking through a doorway could also cause a small dip in memory performance. This suggests the brain isn't reacting to a physical door, it's reacting to a change in context. This leads us to the leading theory, the event horizon model. It proposes that our brain doesn't see life as one long, continuous movie. Instead, to make sense of the world, it breaks our experience down into a series of individual events or scenes. A doorway, or any significant change in context, acts as an event boundary, a signal to your brain that one scene has ended and a new one is beginning. It's the mental equivalent of a director yelling, "Cut." When you cross an event boundary, your brain assumes the thoughts relevant to the old scene are no longer needed. It archives the old model and opens a new one for the new context. That thought about why I came in here gets mentally shelved to make room for what's important in this new room. So, case closed, right? The doorway effect is real, the event horizon model explains it. Your brain segments reality, and doorways are the edit points. End of story. Well, not exactly. Science is a messy, beautiful process. For years, the doorway effect was a classic textbook finding. But then other labs tried to replicate it and couldn't always get the same results. Sometimes the effect was strong, sometimes it was weak, and sometimes it vanished completely. The mystery of the doorway was back. This confusion led to a major reevaluation. In 2021, a team of researchers decided to tackle the problem head-on. They ran a series of highly controlled experiments, both in virtual reality and in the real world, to finally pin down the truth about the doorway effect. Their conclusion was shocking. Under simple, focused conditions, doorways alone did not reliably cause forgetting. Wait, what? So the whole thing is a myth? Is my own brain lying to me every time I walk into the kitchen for a snack? Not a myth, but the door isn't the real villain. It's an accomplice. The real culprit, the mastermind of your forgetfulness, is something called cognitive load. Remember our tiny mental desk? The original simple experiments were like having just one item on it. But in real life, your desk is rarely that tidy. You're thinking about dinner, rehearsing a conversation, worrying about a deadline. You're multitasking. And this is exactly what the 2021 researchers tested. When they had participants simply walk through the door, nothing happened. But when they added a distracting secondary task, like counting backwards by threes, the doorway effect suddenly reappeared, and it was strong. Here's the best way to think about it. The doorway, the context shift, is like a small gust of wind. If your thought is the only thing on your mental desk, if you're focused, it's like a paper held down by a paperweight. The gust does nothing. But if your desk is cluttered and your focus is divided, that thought is a loose sheet of paper, ready to be blown away. It's also the asterisk meaningfulness of the new context that matters. If you walk from one identical empty room to another, you'll probably remember your goal. But if you walk from your quiet desk into a chaotic kitchen that demands your attention, your brain has to process a ton of new, important information, pushing your original, less urgent goal aside. So what can you do when your mission vanishes into thin air? Is it gone forever? Thankfully, no. The thought is usually just archived, not deleted. Most common advice, and it often works, is to simply return to the original room. This is called context reinstatement. By re-exposing your brain to the original environmental cues, you can often reactivate the archived thought. But it's not a magic trick. If you were highly distracted, the thought might be buried deeper. So an even better approach is to use proactive strategies to prevent the thought from disappearing in the first place. First, say your intention out loud. I am going to the kitchen to get the scissors. Engaging your auditory and speech centers creates a stronger, multi-sensory memory trace. Second, visualize the entire task. Don't just think scissors. Picture yourself walking to the kitchen, opening the specific drawer, and picking them up. This preloads the new scene into your brain, so the context shift is less jarring. Third, carry a related object. If you need scissors to open a package, carry the package with you. This object acts as a constant physical reminder, anchoring the goal in your working memory. So the doorway isn't the villain, but more like an accomplice. The real forgetting happens when two things combine: a context shift and a demanding mental task that's already taxing your working memory. Think about it. You're crafting a complex email, get up to grab a specific report from the printer, walk through the office door, and suddenly you're just standing there. The email task was the high cognitive load. But if your only thought is, I'm bored, I'll go see what's in the fridge, that's a very low cognitive load. You're much more likely to remember your mission, because it's the only thing on your mental desk. This also explains why the doorway doesn't have to be a literal door. In our modern lives, we cross these event boundaries constantly. Switching apps on your phone is a doorway. Opening a new browser tab is a doorway. Ever been deep in a work document, switch to answer one quick message, and then return to your document feeling like you've just woken up from a nap? You've just experienced a digital doorway effect. So if our brains are wired to treat doorways as mental reset buttons, how can we fight back? The good news is, by understanding the mechanism, we can develop strategies to outsmart our own brains. The first trick is simple. As you walk, actively rehearse your goal. By repeating, get the scissors, you are manually keeping that thought at the top of your working memory's priority list. This conscious effort acts like a hand holding the item on your mental desk. When the new room's information arrives, the thought you're actively protecting is less likely to get knocked off. But what if it's too late? You're already standing there clueless. The most effective strategy is often the simplest. Go back. Return to the room where you first had the thought. The original room is full of cues that were linked to your original thought. Re-entering that context helps your brain find the mental file it just archived, bringing the memory back to your attention. This mental reset isn't just a bug. It's a feature. When you're stuck on a difficult problem, changing your environment, literally walking away, can be a powerful tool to clear your mental slate and see the problem with fresh eyes. So the next time you find yourself standing confused in the kitchen, don't worry. It's not a sign of failure. It's just your brain, efficiently managing its tiny, cluttered desk in a very busy world. And finally, the most powerful tip of all, for those 15 seconds of walking, just try to single task. Commit fully to your mission. Don't try to continue a conversation, don't check your phone on the way. Give your tiny mental desk a break. So the next time you find yourself standing confused in a doorway, don't blame the door. Your brain isn't broken and your memory isn't failing. Your working memory is just a tiny, limited workspace. A change in location, especially when you're distracted, forces your brain to update its priorities, and your original mission can get temporarily filed away. The doorway did not erase your memory. Your brain simply decided that the world had moved into a new scene and began updating the script. The missing thought may still be there, buried beneath whatever your brain decided was more important on the other side of the door. What other strange brain glitches do you experience every day? Let us know in the comments below. And for more answers about your weird and wonderful brain, make sure to subscribe.